Would help if I added myself to the stage. Welcome, Jamsters, to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast on the BLEAV Podcast Network, brought to you by FanDuel. I'll tell you one thing, just throwing it out there real quick on FanDuel. Right now, they're kind of undervaluing Grayson Allen assists and Ryan Dunn rebounds. So if you parlay those two together like I did tonight, throw one of those 50% boosts that they give you, you can make some money like I did tonight. It was actually kind of fun winning that money kind of early, but then as obviously the game progressed late, this turned into an L for the Phoenix Suns. Down two starters again, and Booker kind of looked off from the jump. Nothing came easy, but the team played like they had something to prove. The ball was flying, the shots were falling, and somehow they went into halftime with the lead. They fought, they grinded. Devin Booker had a stellar fourth quarter. They gave it everything they had tonight. But winning in this league takes more than effort. It's a cruel reminder that we're bound to feel all season long. And tonight, Jamsters, as you can see by the final score that I have up on the screen, Suns lose by 1 point and now are 1-4 on the season.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Matthew. Oh, yeah, sorry. Got to crack my beer. You're on mute again.
And I was mute again. That's
Like,
two games in a row,
it's
dude.
two-
I'm gonna do it at least 20 times this season. I'm all proud of myself.
Well, cheers.
We've been drinking a lot this season. I don't know what's going on, man.
1 point loss. You know, again, I mentioned it on the last podcast that when we lost to the Jazz, that one didn't sting. This one kind of stung a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I think that what we saw from this team as we continue to unwrap what Mark Williams is and who he's becoming, as we see fourth quarter Book again, and you start to feel like, okay, the ship is heading in the right direction. We know that steering this ship away from the big three and towards what they're going to be is going to take some time, but you want to have some successes along the way. And this game had successes in it, but ultimately losing by 1 point, man, that it stung a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think even last game it was a must win. Tonight was, I thought, it's not really a must win, but it's a game that you think they can win. And that's really important. Like, these are teams that you can beat. Memphis is kind of giving out, or they're starting out just like they're 2-2, obviously 500, but they're a team that's not really themselves yet either. So you don't want them to kind of find themselves in this game. They kind of did in the fourth quarter with the Suns trying to come back. It was possible, but just with a few shots at the end that Booker couldn't make, that was the difference.
There's a lot of little differences. When you have a possession game like this, it's hard not to look back at individual possessions and be frustrated with their outcomes. But we'll get into that and much more. And we'll start with the question that I got for you, because this is one that's interesting, and I'm interested to hear your point of view.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
All right, Matthew, got to ask this one. So Jalen Green's out again, unfortunately. Dylan Brooks is out again, unfortunately. And we run into a situation where the starters are Grayson Allen, Devin Booker, Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams. Mark Williams gets his first start. But the closing unit for the final, 5 minutes of the game, roughly, is Colin Gillespie, Devin Booker, Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, and Mark Williams. Is that the right closing unit for the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, I think so for this game. Obviously, I wanted Gillespie to start. He doesn't, but he finishes. It's not always about the guys who start. It's about the guys who finish. And you have guys that are in there with Grayson Allen kind of struggled a little bit tonight, but guys that can kind of find Book or find the open shooter and they can get hot themselves. Obviously, Booker did in the fourth, but finishing with those guys, knowing that Mark Williams was so dominant in the paint, where he didn't need much help, but he did need like the team rebounding. But when it came down to like him just trying to get a hand on the basket or on the ball coming down from the basket, the defensive rebound, he was there and the team was helping him out at the end of the game. Like, that's all you needed, were just the guys around him to help him out. And everyone else kind of fits, right? Like, it just looks so fluid. It looks like the right kind of just ending cast right now for the Suns. I think Jordan Ott did a good job. I would have started Gillespie, but finishing with him, it was the right move. And Gillespie again had a great game.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those situations where, as you mentioned, it's not about who starts, it's about who finishes. And with no Jalen Green, with no Dylan Brooks, I thought Colin Gillespie should have got the start. Based off of what we saw in the last game, I was hoping that we'd see more of him. And what he does is he sets the table. And in those final minutes of the game, the team looked competent, which I think is very important. As John Tran says in the chat, Gillespie has earned his stripes, and he's out there, really putting forth quality effort and giving you quality minutes, and you can count on him. And the great thing about that lineup, which isn't something we're going to see all the time, because obviously Jalen Green's going to be back.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks will be back. But that's chaos, toughness, and shooting all in one. You got a guy who can shoot in both Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen if needed, along with Devin Booker and Colin. They can all shoot. Colin is an acceptable defender. You have unbelievable rebounding in Mark Williams. And I just like that unit. And it would have been so nice to walk out of this one with a win and going, you know what? Because Jordan Ott pulled the right lever and had the right guys in there at the end of the game. And that's not what hurt them. Ultimately, what hurts them, in my opinion at least, in the fourth quarter, is they have 7 turnovers for 15 points. I mean, that's what kills them in the fourth. Up until that point, it's 3 turnovers in the first, 5 turnovers in the second, so that's 8. 6 turnovers in the third, so that's 14. And then they add 7 more in that fourth quarter, and that's kind of the nail in the coffin. And the front end of the fourth quarter, that was the issue, in my opinion, in this game, is the Suns were doing a great job throughout the game, distributing the ball, making the extra pass. And at the front end of the fourth quarter, we stopped the extra pass being made. Grayson Allen, for example, would drive into the hole and he would try to finish instead of dishing out to an open shooter. Devin Booker did the same thing a couple times. And unfortunately, it was that for a team that was so selfless all night, it was a little selfishness that really hurt them, because they were poor shots and there were turnovers because they weren't effective shots ultimately.
No, they weren't. 3 out of the 5 turnovers that Grayson Allen did have were in the fourth quarter. He's still being used as a ball handler. I think all of that has to go to Gillespie. I think it has to be a full-time thing, unless it's like fuck you mode from Devin Booker, who just wants the ball and he's on a hot streak, scoring 29 points in the second half. Then it's his game. It's his ball if he's that way. But the turnovers have to be limited. But it hasn't really been that big of an issue. I think the Suns have had their miscues, but in clutch situations, it seems like, I know they had a few blowouts, but in the games where it's close, it doesn't seem like they're turning the ball over as much. And it's coming off of just kind of dumb plays, like the inbound play at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's a turnover, though.
Yeah.
That's a dumb turnover.
It's a dumb one. And those are things I feel like you can fix. And that's what I really like about this team right now. It's like when I'm watching it, they're 1-4. And people are going to say they suck, but there are just things that I know they do suck. But the last 2 games are winnable. They could easily be 3-2 right now. And that's the NBA. That's the NFL. That's all sports. Mm-hmm. But you lose. And I think that they can fix these little things and they can come out on top in these games later in the season. Like, that's what they're going to learn from. But I feel like they have the right pieces now. I'm super excited. We have a lineup that I like at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Without Brooks and without Green. I think it's great that Ott's leaning into that. He still has his little like Valentine's Day love, like summer love.
We'll get to Oso.
Yeah.
I think Oso might be in my burn book tonight.
Everyone's burn book. But other than that, dude, they're hitting on all cylinders.
And I agree with what you say, where it feels like these are things that can be correctable. And I know that these are the same situations that we said last year with this team, is when we saw all these turnovers, we're like, okay, these are correctable things, because they are. But I think that this team might have an affinity to actually correct those issues, and time will tell. But let's talk about some of the bright side, the good things that happened in this game.
Tell me the
Bright side.
All right, so the first thing that I think we should start off with, that is the brightest of sides, is the fact that we got to see this guy's debut as a starter.
Yeah, Mark Williams is a bad man. Yeah, ripping rebounds, blocking shots, playing like a madman. Yeah, crowd go wild when he raised that hand. Pain in the paint, that's the master plan.
Yeah, it's
I'm
one of the
low over here, dude.
It's
My
one of the
bouncing to that one.
It's one of the longer drops, but
I
mean,
love it. I mean, my girlfriend called him cute tonight, so I don't. And she's pregnant. She's sleeping on the couch.
But he's a bad man, and he proved it tonight, getting his first start. Ends with 20 points and 12 rebounds, had 4 steals, had 1 block shot, so 5 total stocks, and is a true force on the interior. And everybody knows this about Mark Williams. Obviously, the challenge that he has is the fact that his health is an issue. But when healthy, he's a bad man, and he was a bad man tonight, Matthew.
Yeah, he was. And the fact that he is an actual center is the best part about this. Like, he has great positioning, he has great hands. And I'm not saying he grabs every rebound, but in double team underneath there, just being surrounded by other big men, he's able to go up higher than the other guys to grab the ball. If it comes down and tipped away, there's other guys around him with the Suns. They're not running down the court yet. They're helping team rebound around him. But his hustle, even the one he lost later in the game where he had it, he just lost it last second. I was like, dude, I don't care, man. This guy's going up and he's grabbing everything that's in his sight. And the will to want to play hard. Like, it's awesome to see, right? I think his stats look great. He's a 2010 guy. He wants to play. After the last game, he talked about, I think I've done enough to be a starter. He's really antsy and wants to be a starter for the Phoenix Suns and wants to prove himself. Like, we got I want to say a decent center right now, a good center.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future with him if he can stay healthy.
I completely agree. And I hope that he can stay healthy because, again, having him there is all it's going to do in the long run is allow the development of Kamon Malawach to continue. And that's something I'll get into here momentarily. But what he did, his give a shit level is off the roof. I look at him as like, he has a lot of the physical tools. He's longer, but he has a lot of the physical tools of like Nick Richards, but much more of a desire than Nick Richards. Nick Richards has all the tools, but he's kind of a lackadaisical guy. You know, he'll get the job done. He'll fight for a rebound here and there. But like Mark Williams wants to go through you because he's a bad man. And so loved what I saw from him tonight. Who did you have, or what is your bright side for this game?
So I think the second half was it was just Booker. I was looking for the first half. You don't want to be down by 20 again because everyone keeps talking about how bad the Suns suck and they're always down by 20 in the first half. Royce O'Neal's been big this year. Last game he had a big outing. I think it was the best game he's played in the Suns uniform, I think, all around. And I think his movement and everything off ball was really good in the first half. I think he found himself wide open plenty of times. He hit his first 2 threes, or he was 2 of 5 from 3. But it's not really about the stats either. I think he's doing a lot more. Like I said, last game, he was kind of using his body more. Mm-hmm. He was rebounding better, but he's staying very active. It's something that Ryan Dunn has to do too, where he has to continue to stay active and get what he wants on the floor. But Royce is doing that. Like, I think that he's moving more than anybody off ball. So I have to give it to that, just because I feel like that really helps those lulls that you would think would happen if Booker's struggling or Conquist's not in the game. That movement off ball's helping the Suns team get into tough stretches, and they're staying afloat in the game, and the game's closer than it usually, or more than it was the games prior, where it's a 20-point deficit. Like, that's what I'm looking for with these guys, and he's doing it. So I have to give it to Royce, dude. He's had a good year so far. I love what he's doing.
So to your point, 18 points for Royce O'Neal on 6 of 12 shooting, 6 of 11 from beyond the arc. So all of his points came via the 3 ball. He had 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a couple turnovers, but overall a +7 on the night. And yeah, one thing that's worrisome about this team this year is going to be how are they going to generate points when Jalen Green and or Devin Booker aren't on the floor. And Royce O'Neal thus far has stepped into that role. But I'm going to have him in my burn book here momentarily because I had a couple issues with him.
I love it.
A couple other things I just wanted to hit on the bright side for this game. Q4, Devin Booker was just unbelievable in this game, and he needed it.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Big Dick Booker.
So Devin Booker ends 10 of 26 from the field for 32 points. So again, not the most efficient night, but entering this game, he came in averaging a ton of points. I had it up. I had to click the get stats thing. He came into this game averaging 28.5 points per game. Okay, 12th most in the NBA. And now he's 32, 4 of 11 from beyond the arc, 4 total rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block shot, 3 total turnovers. And the first half, it was tough for him. 3 points at halftime. He was 1 of 9 from the field. But in that fourth quarter alone, he ends with 16 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. And so to see Devin Booker kind of get engaged, for the team to carry him through the first 2.5 quarters until he really started to find his shot, because it wasn't necessarily him getting locked up. It was to a certain extent by one player. But for the most part, it was him just not hitting wide open jumpers. And again, looking kind of, as we've mentioned before, kind of in between, kind of trying to just, figure out where his spots are, where he fits in this offense. And in the fourth quarter, it kind of looked like it all clicked for him, Matthew.
It did. And, even like Ja Morant, who was someone that's been struggling a little bit, he had to find himself in this game. He had to find himself in the second half too. He had 18 of his 28 points in the second half. That was Ja Morant. But he started slow too. Started really slow. And he just had the 10 points in the first half, but he couldn't hit anything next to the basket. But Booker was struggling in a way where it's like, it sucks and it's annoying, but it's like, I'm not focused on it. Like, we're going to get on his ass, of course, if he is struggling, and it's going to be very disappointing if he can't come through to keep games close and help his teammates that are really balling out right now. But I'm just watching everybody else around him, man. Like, he fits in a different way this year, and I kind of like it. And the fourth quarter, and obviously the whole second half, he came in and destroyed and hit massive shots. Even last game, he hit 2 huge threes. If he can finish games like this and just start out slow, that's fine, because I feel like he has the teammates around him, right, that can kind of help him through these struggles right now in the first 5 games of the season.
That's the hope, but obviously when you're playing against subpar competition, that's what's going to happen. We're going to need him to be much more engaged early on against quality competition. My only non-bright side thing, my only burn for Devin Booker, well, I'll save that for my burn book. The last thing I want to talk about on the bright side is Colin Gillespie. And I think that this guy has earned a drop, don't you?
Oh, God, don't tease me.
Your villain junior is Colin Gillespie.
And call it
Gillespie. There you go, Matthew, just for you.
I love it. Gypsy Gillespie. I love it. He does look like a gypsy, though, doesn't he?
He does kind of have a gypsy quality. I think it's the mole.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, very deviant.
Colin Gillespie in this game, 30 minutes played, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. He had 14 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block shot, 1 turnover. He's continuing to make a name for himself. He's continuing to show that he is somebody who belongs. And every time he's out there, things just look cleaner, man.
Yeah, he's the missing piece, really. And we came into the season, and I thought, too, like, if he's going to play well, the Suns would be okay. They'll be a good team, I think, a decent team. He's played very well. So I do compare him to a lot of guys in the NBA. I do think that he can be up there as a 6th man of the year. He has that quality. Defensively, too, I think just the steals, the block shots, even. Like, he'll surprise you at times.
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting for the other team to kind of catch up on him, but I don't know if it's going to work, because this guy just has the biggest balls and shooting whatever he wants to shoot. He had a turnover under the basket, and it gets passed right back to him. And he just hits a 3 with some guy's hand in his face. Like,
yeah,
no one does that, but that's what you need on this team right now. It's just guys that have that kind of confidence, and he definitely has it, and he fits in. That's why he's a villain junior. Did you think it was him? Because I thought maybe it might be him, but did you think it was Gillespie?
I was hoping it was Ryan Dunn, because I just feel like it needs to be Ryan Dunn.
Is Ryan Dunn mad it's not him?
He's walking. I was like, dang, I thought I was going to be villain junior. Dylan Brooks is you're villain the 3rd. He's like, oh man. But I like what I see from Gillespie and all the things that you say. He has that irrational confidence that every team needs. Now, all that's nice and dandy, but it's time to talk about the burn book.
The school board felt that it was best that we investigate every claim made in this burn book.
The Suns Jam Session. Burn book. All right, the burn book. Who we burning tonight? I'll
go first?
Yeah, because I got a few.
Okay. I do too.
I'll start with Devin Booker in the fourth quarter. We mentioned all the great things that he did, but the challenge with this team that we're going to consistently see in close games this year is the fact that Devin Booker will have to understand that opposing teams are going to target him and make tough, make him make tough shots. And there was opportunities on a couple possessions late where if he had just passed it and not settle for ridiculous 24-footers, that could be the difference in the game. It's just pass the ball around a little bit. And you know what? Maybe you'll get it back. And this is almost going back to last season, Kevin Durant syndrome, where he just had to have the ball at the end and there was no dishing. It was isolation into a bad shot. Kevin Durant can make those shots. Devin Booker's not really the best heat check guy in the NBA. So that's one of the things I have in my burn book.
I love it. And I think that we kind of have the good and the bad with Booker game to game. And pretty soon we'll have like the full book for maybe a couple weeks and he won't be in the burn book. So this burn book though, is it something we burn at the end of the season and write a bunch of names in
yes,
it? Or,
we have to. Yeah. Like Phil Jackson did at the end of The Last Dance.
Is that, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Would Nick Richards be in it constantly? Because for me tonight, he was in the burn book and I feel
hold on. I got to play his drop.
Okay.
Nicky, the great Nick Richards. Richard means Dick, that's why he's Nicky, the great Nick Richards.
So what you're saying, Matthew, is he wasn't the great Nick Richards tonight, was he?
No, not the great Nicky Dicky. I like his effort. He really cares, and I feel really bad for the dude because he really wants to belong and be our backup center, and he's making progress at times, but today's game was just really rough to watch. And I think it really came in the second quarter where him and like Oso were in the game and they were trying to feed off of each other and there were some miscues on both of their ends, but it was really Nick Richards. And, it was like the pass, the fast break pass that he just overthrew to Oso and Oso was just kind of running down.
Oh, that was such a bad pass,
nonchalant.
man.
I was like, there are things he does where he rushes too much. He just overthinks things. And then when he's down low underneath the basket, he's unable to really box out and grab the defensive rebound. I do feel bad, and I hate throwing him under the bus, but he's really struggling right now. I think he started that season really strong, but this game and the last few games, he's been kind of just a little washed on the end. And I don't want it to happen because I really like Nick. But tonight was a real struggle bus for him tonight, I think.
Well, 0 points in 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes
turnovers,
played.
yeah.
2 turnovers, So I think that it hurts for more reasons than one, Matthew, because we need him to be productive in some capacity if the Suns want to trade him for like a second-round pick. Because at the end of the day, that's all they're going to get for him. He makes $5 million, so they're not going to get anything back. He could be a salary filler to a team that's trying to dump salary. So if we trade like a Royce plus him, that it equals like $15 million, we can get maybe a second-round pick back, because they want that expiring because they're trying to save cap money, what have you. But it all is predicated on whether or not he can at least stay on the court a little bit. And I think that it's important because there's another guy who kind of ends up in my burn book tonight.
Oh. You know what I'm talking about.
Oso Ighodaro. The Oso minutes are not looking good right now. They're kind of hurting my soul a little bit. 2 points in 12 minutes played. He had 4 rebounds, a couple assists, a turnover. Just doesn't look good. Just doesn't look, he's Oso. What's the nickname I wrote down on Twitter? The bunny bricker. He's just missing bunnies, man. It's like that's the one thing he can come in and do effectively, and he can't hit a 4-foot bunny shot. And I think that both Nick Richards and Oso Ighodaro need to have some production because I want Kaman Malawach to develop properly. And I know where people are coming from. I have this conversation with people at work, and I see it in the chat, and I see it online. Malawach. So like Johnny Timestamp said in the chat, he goes 10th pick, 0 minutes. 11th pick, 14 points. That's Cedric Howard, obviously, who looked fantastic for the Memphis Grizzlies, a guy I was super high on in the draft. Just looks like he belongs. Now, there's a couple things to remember here. Is one that Cedric Howard is 22 years old and Kaman Malawach is 19. That guards develop faster and will have more early success in the NBA, and bigs take longer to develop. And I'm right there. Like I'm not beating the drum for Kaman Malawach yet, while a lot of people are. And I'm kind of one of the guys who's probably against the grain on that because I think that confidence is so important to a young player, and to put him into high leverage moments or put him into games this early, it can do more negative than positive, in my opinion. And if you don't believe that, two questions. One, how long you been a Suns fan? And two, do you remember Marquise Chris or Alex Len or Dragon Bender, all these guys who get a ton of minutes early and they develop some bad habits? And so I feel like between Nick Richards, primarily Nick Richards, because Oso Ighodaro, he just shouldn't be playing center minutes. He's a power forward, if that. He's a tweener who just doesn't make sense. But we need to get some more length out of these guys so he can continue to develop behind the scenes. So when he hits the bright lights and the stage of the NBA, he's a little bit more ready and he can start developing confidence rather than hurting it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, there were leaked footage from the practice today where it was Mark Williams and Oso kind of working on a 2-man game and Oso like in the corner. Like there were times where I feel like Oso was supposed to be in the corner. Royce O'Neal tried to hit him in the corner and he just overthrew it, but also Oso wasn't even there. So I don't know whose fault that was or what player that
I feel like it was Oso on that play, because I feel like that's the design of the play, and Royce threw it to a spot where there's supposed to be a player, and Oso's like, well, I don't hang out here, I go to the basket. So he's out of position, so he's not in the right place.
Yeah, and I think that there's something with Oso though. Like it's the little bunny bricks and stuff like that has to come just for mentally just knowing like, hey, I don't know how much longer I have to really earn like decent minutes with the Phoenix Suns. Like this might be like my one and done chance really with the Suns, because they're playing me at the center position, which I don't agree with. And if you're going to put Richards out there, I would rather just have Kaman out there to see how it works, because Richards right now, he doesn't really have the IQ that matches anything higher than what Kaman would bring. Right. I see Coward out there.
He has the experience.
Yeah, he does have the experience, but Coward too. And I'm not saying Kaman should play right now. I'm not. It would be nice, but I am saying that Coward still is making mistakes out there too as a rookie. Like he had a lot of miscues tonight. He had some missed passes down in the paint. He was frustrating his teammates at times, but he hit big shots tonight, especially a big 3 in the end. I think that's Kaman though. If he can play some minutes here and there to build his confidence, then maybe it would work that way. But I just don't know. They obviously know what they have with Kaman.
Yep.
I just think if Richards obviously is stacking these games back to back to where he's struggling, then yeah, give it a shot with Kaman. But right now, I think it's too quick. I know we're 1-4, but you can't throw him out there right now and struggle and hurt his confidence.
I got this bad boy in the mail today. Look at that. Come on, Mala Watch rookie card.
So
here, no, it's not an auto. This thing cost me 99 cents. So here's what I'll say, Suns fans, and I really like what Saul says here, and I'll bring it up momentarily. So right now, Oso played 12 minutes. He played like 13 minutes of the last game, right? And what Saul says in the chat, and this is how I'm starting to lean, but we're not there yet, and I'll tell you why, Jamsters. Saul says, I would play Mark and Nick mainly, which I agree with some Mala Watch sprinkled in, but no more Oso. So essentially what Saul's saying, and what I think a lot of the fan base wants, is for Oso's minutes to be completely depleted and replaced by Kaman Mala Watch. So here's my theory. The G League starts, I believe, on the 8th of November. So we got, a couple more weeks until that happens. I think that the Suns, and I'll probably write an article on Brightside about this, the Suns should keep Oso where he's at because he's the project on the workbench right now. He's the guy you're trying to put out there, see what he has, because you are, as a part of development, you're trying to understand what that asset is, what that second-round pick from last year is. Is he an NBA player? Does he fit? Does he need more development in the G League? And so from now until the G League starts, or at least, a couple days before, you keep him in there. You keep giving him those 12, 10 to 15 minutes in there. You see what you have. And then based on his performance, you ship him down to the G League. And then you start the process of slowly bringing on Kaman. I think that's kind of a way that I would do it. What do you think about that development?
Yeah, no, I agree with it. I think seeing what he's seeing from the bench and just kind of coming into a different scenario, like than a lot of the other draft picks, to where the Suns aren't as good. Like you're looking at VJ Edgecombe, you're looking at obviously Harper over there with San Antonio Spurs. I feel like a lot of these rookies are coming to situations that they're gonna be winning. Flag obviously is struggling a little bit over there with Dallas, but they're supposed to be projected to win, right? They're supposed to be the second seed in the West by me. But the Suns, they're struggling right now, and everyone knew they were going to struggle. So I think it's hard for Ott to really kind of balance just both of that. Like the Suns having to try to maintain like a decent record while trying to have these rookies play okay minutes and kind of build confidence out there. Like it's a hard thing to deal with. And I think Ott right now is doing the right thing with Kaman. Like he said, maybe bring him on after Oso goes to the G League. But right now also like it's like these games right now, I think that they can win some of these, right? They can get on track. I think that's what Ott's thinking. He's like, I don't have to throw Kaman out there because I feel like we can win games without him right now.
Yeah, they're being competitive in the games they're supposed to be competitive in. You know, they got blown out twice, but that's against the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. And kind of to your point, and Zona Sports, who writes for Brightside, at AZ Sports Zone on Twitter, tweeted this out earlier. He goes, the top 10 picks in the NBA's 2025 draft, total minutes so far. Said Cooper Flagg 126 minutes, Dylan Harper 104, VJ Edgecombe 161, Con Knippel 117, Ace Bailey 47, Trey Johnson 107, Jeremiah Fears 73, Igor Demon 65, Colin Murray Boyles 37, Come on Malwatch 17. You know, so one of these things is definitely not like the other. Now, granted, he's the only big guy, and like I said earlier, he's the youngest of those outside of Cooper Flagg, and he is the only big, so they take more time to develop. So again, I think that strategy is being in play here while the team is still being competitive.
So you're saying to burn Book like Devin Booker, we should have traded him.
No,
and then drafted Coward, Cedric Coward, right?
No.
To replace him. Oh,
let's
right.
let's do some quick stat me.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
All right, so your stat of the night that I have here for you, Matthew. Last season, Jalen Wells guarded Devin Booker for 23 minutes over 4 games, and that's who caught the primary assignment tonight. In those 4 games last year, over those 23 minutes, Devin Booker was 3 of 19, which is 16% from the floor. So I know that a lot of people saw Devin Booker going 1 of 9 from the field to begin the game, and we're freaking out. What's going on with Devin Booker? All the tweets start coming in of people losing their minds. It was a combination of things. One, primarily the fact that Devin Booker was just off. He wasn't hitting some shots that he normally does. Again, he's kind of looked in between. I think we can both agree to that. But the other side of this, Jalen Wells is one of those guys who just is a pest for him. He just kind of annoys him, right?
Yeah, no, I think he does, and you can just see it on his face too. The worst part about Wells is that he doesn't show any emotion. And when Booker is struggling and fussing and stuff, and Wells is just like, whatever. He's chill. He's a chill dude. Those are the scariest defenders out there. And the most annoying defenders because they don't give in to anything. They play their game. Next play. They're not looking back in the past on just struggling from the field because he missed a few threes here or there. Just defensively, you can tell that Booker struggles and that also like Booker on the other end tries to make up for it, right? Tries to defend Wells. But then obviously Wells hits a big 3 in Booker's face and it's an and one. Like I just think that Wells has that thing where Booker will struggle defensively against these guys. And then also on the other end, like those guys kind of get him back too at times to end the game. Like I hate that when that happens. That's why hitting the game-winning shot would have meant so much more to, I think, Booker because he did struggle and all the way back. He made up for everything he did not do in the first half. But hitting those last 2 shots or missing both of them, I mean, that would have meant more because of the struggles he had against Wells tonight, I think.
Yeah, Jalen Wells, Colin Gillespie got some Jalen Wells in him, man. He just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He just don't give
He
a
doesn't.
fuck.
He has that flat face.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
I'd put the Batman mask on, but I'm too tired. This is the subreddit stakeout brought to you by Nettles Air Conditioning, nettlesair.com. If you need an absolute unit, go to nettlesair.com. This is what was being said on the Memphis Grizzlies Reddit board. Book getting clamped out there, soft like an old paperback.
He's called soft so much.
He is. Oh, there's a Charmin thing in here. Dudes at the YMCA play harder than this. Royce might have the Grizz money line because Royce had a couple boneheaded plays. Again, that throw to the corner, we don't know who's in the wrong. I think both you and I agree it was Oso Ighodaro, but he had a couple plays where he just like the foul on Ja Morant in transition.
That was in my burn book. I forgot to bring it up.
Yeah, and I thought about it and I wrote it down, and it's in my burn book too. I just didn't go off on Royce like I thought I was going to because I figured I'd talk about it in the subreddit stakeout. But when you foul John transition, like he was doing it like he was trying to get subbed out or something. It was so lackadaisical. And when you think about the fact that this game was determined by 1 point,
yep,
that was a free point that you gave him right there, a free one, because it's not like he put a hard foul on him. He was going up for a nice, easy in transition layup, and then he's just like, "Hi, Jaw," and he gave him a nice little hug.
So really quick too, he's done that a few times, and we lost by 1 point in this game. Last game, do you remember when he was on a heater and he did a heat check on a fast break 3-on-1, and he pulled up, missed a 3?
Yeah,
that could have been an easy 2.
Yes,
and maybe that's the difference in the game. Like, so back-to-back games, he makes boneheaded plays that might have just cost us a game. It always comes back to those.
It does, and he has those just like, what are we doing moments. And again, when you're losing barely to the Jazz and barely to the Memphis Grizzlies, those possessions matter. And I hope that Jordan, those are the kind of things that he brings up and talks to his team about. Suns Fever, does Nettles service the Chattanooga area? I think they do. It's a 602 number, but they sell air conditioning units, man. If you need an air conditioning unit, give them a call. Oh shit, Grayson versus Santi. Ha 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 ha. That was a fun little interaction with Santi Aldama and Grayson Allen were fighting for the ball, kind of laughing at each other, and somehow got double tacked. Here's your Booker comments. Booker is Charmin. I gotta say, for all the subreddit stakeouts that we do, there's some subreddits fan bases that are just clever and hilarious. Memphis was meh because they're like, Booker is Charmin. Booker, more like Booger. I'm like, but then
they're all 12 years old.
If you want to laugh, look up Booker's contract. I was like, okay, that's okay. That's okay.
That is a lot of money.
And the most dangerous white dude in Arizona is Cam Spencer. Remember last year, Cam Spencer lit us up.
Yeah.
And then somebody responded, they're like, him and Trey McBride. And the other person responded, ball.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right. Anything else that you had in your notes that we didn't bring up, Matthew?
Nothing. I'm still enjoying the season, though. I think that these games have been fun. Like, I like the fact that you don't know what's going to happen, but you think the Suns really do have a chance to win in the end. Like, I don't know. It's a good feeling watching these games, man. That's all I can say.
I'll say this, that as somebody who obviously does this podcast and watches the games with an analytical eye that both you and I do, and writing for Brightside about it, there's a lot of fun stories and storylines and progression and theory. Like, the argument over Come On Malawach versus Oso versus Nick Richards is something that is fun to talk about. They're good topics of discussion. And I like having that more than just like being careful of what I say because Kevin Durant might DM me later and tell me that I'm a clown and I need to get a new life kind of thing. There's a different level of engagement thus far. And I will say it's been fun these past couple games watching this because I can turn the Dodgers off in like the fucking 5th inning and just know that game's fucking over, as they now trail the series 3-2 and will lose when they go up to Canada. So and I'll tell you this, and this is the God's honest truth. And like today, I was more excited for this game against the Grizzlies than I was the World Series. Now, I guess that the World Series is stressful and annoying, and it's just not fun. Whereas this is, for all the reasons we just stated, it's fun and enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I can see that. I was going to ask you too, going into Friday, are you planning to do the pod if the Dodgers lose? Or are you going to say fuck it?
Yeah, heck yeah. Why wouldn't I? Fuck it.
Are you going to do it naked or something? Or?
No, I'll just do it like because
yourself.
Well, you got to think about it like this, man. Like the Dodgers won the World Series last year, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking.
I'd love to win 2 in a row, but if Toronto wins, good on them, man. Like I got no hate. The Dodgers will be back next year. They pay $7 gazillion for the team. They're still fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the Dodgers anymore.
All right.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, a reminder, subscribe, rate, and review. And if you happen to be on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button because that helps with the algorithms and gets us more subscribers because somewhere, someday, somehow, we're going to get to 4,000 subscribers. We've been at 3,800 for like 2 years. And if you happen to be listening to the podcast and you're doing so on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review and rate us 5 stars. We'll read it here on the pod, but for the same reason, it puts us in front of more people. And maybe you think that more people should hear us, or maybe you're like, no, fuck you guys. I do want to give a shout out to Jim Purdy for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you for supporting the podcast in that capacity. That was pretty nice of you to do there, Jim Purdy. And we're going to take that money and invest in more, like Suns rookie cards, like Rasheer Fleming or another Kaman Malawach.
You have a Colin Gillespie over there or what?
No Colin. I was going through the cards that I got earlier,
Shangoon.
No.
Oh.
I did end up with a KD card though.
Yeah, well,
yeah, look at that right there.
What do you do with that one? Yeah.
I put it in my burn book.
What are the Rockets right now? Are they 1 and 2?
They're 2 and 3. They won tonight.
2 and 3? Okay.
Yeah, they won tonight. So Swish City asked in the chat, "Did you buy the new Topps packs?" I did. I bought the box with 7 packs in it, and the only card that I think I got that's worth anything, just for anybody who cares about cards, I'm in here organizing them. I got this sand glitter Walter Clayton Jr. rookie card.
That's a nice one.
Yeah,
earning nice. Big minutes with the Jazz over AC. Like, you can see it on his face. Like, that guy belongs. Obviously, we knew from Florida he was going to belong, but this quickly, like, already hitting big shots. Like, he's deadly, man. I like that dude.
You're stepping all over our preview because we play them next.
We play them Friday, the World Cup. Yep.
Well, looking at Jam Stars in the chat, let's see. Mark Williams for Kiko. I like Oso is this generation's Joe Klein. So that's a good one. He gives it to Mark Williams as well. So I will say this. I'm going to give it to fourth quarter Booker because that team was starting to struggle. They were being what was the largest deficit in that fourth quarter?
10 points.
10 points. They were down 10. And they were up 99-89 and the Suns came back and took the lead up 113-112 before ultimately losing. But I give it to fourth quarter Booker. Who you giving it to?
I'm going to do the same. And the reason being, I really just kind of was excited about everybody else. And the Booker came back around and reminded us who Booker was. And I can't forget the last game and the 2 shots he made at the end to make it close and tie the game. I think that Booker right now is searching for more in the first half offensively now, which is nice to see. But it's also it's a different book between the first and second half. I don't know what it is. Like, he just has to get in a groove. I don't know if it's in just warming up or what, but he looks great. And it's hard not to give it to Mark Williams because that guy right now is an absolute beast.
He is.
And seeing him and Gillespie have back-to-back games the way they have, like, that gives you the confidence as a Suns fan. But hey, we might have something here.
Exactly. Completely agree. And everyone in the chat agrees with you that Mark Williams is the jam star of the game. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that. Up next for the Suns, Friday night Halloween, a spectacular event. The first in-season tournament game or NBA Cup game. Or I think the NBA Cup is now sponsored by nettlesair.com. So the nettleairs.com NBA Cup, which is what we'll call it. Dude. We'll call it moving forward. What's crazy is it's the first NBA Cup game, and then they don't play the next one until like the end of November. But playing the Jazz again, second time in a week. What are you looking for in this one? Is it Walter Clayton Jr.?
I think we can't talk enough about Mark Williams, obviously, but the fact that he's going to be starting this game, and I already mentioned how he can go up and grab the boards over anybody. He demolished them in the fourth quarter last game, grabbing almost everything in his sight. So it's going to be nice to see them start this game with Mark Williams. I don't think Gillespie will start, obviously, but it was always about rebounding, right? We got out-rebounded big last game, so if we can start out strong, not get down by 20, maybe take a 20-point lead this time and see what happens. That's what I'm looking for, man. It's about the bigs, and I think Mark Williams can handle those guys down there.
Yeah, a lot of lessons learned from the last game against the Jazz. The first lesson is the fact that team is huge. The fact that they have Walker Kessler, that they have Lauri Markkanen, and that they have – who am I missing? Who's the third big guy?
It's we did this last time too, dude.
I know. I forgot about it. I like him. Try to pull it up real quick.
What, dude?
Kyle Filipowski.
I got him right.
From Duke, all right. I didn't play on him last game. In fact, he only played 3.
Nurk. Someone put Nurk in there
in the fourth quarter. Yeah, but Nurk is Nurk is a backup guy, so they have a ton of size. So I think that what I'm really looking for this game, and what you should too, Suns fans, is what adjustments does Jordan Ott make? Obviously, as you mentioned, Mark Williams should start this game. What does he do then? I assume it'll be Nick Richards after that. But what does he do then? Because if we run small lineups out there, they're never going to have a small lineup out there. Utah isn't. So if we're running Oso out there, I'm going to have a fucking cow on Twitter, because that's an ideal situation to put come on Malawach out there for 10 minutes, man. Keep that length up. And if Oso is playing, he should never be out there as the center. Put him out there as the power forward. And even then, if it's with Mark Williams, if it's with Nick Richards, we know that that's a challenge, because that's a team that can't shoot now. That's really going to be clogging paint. But granted, they're adjusting to the fact that they got killed on the boards. Although Oso's not a great rebounder. So don't play fucking Oso the next game. That's my
I don't think he does. In the fourth quarter, the second half of last game against the Jazz, he only played 3 minutes, 54 seconds. So a little less than 4 minutes. And I think right when he came into the game in the second half, they took him out right away. They just knew it wasn't going to work. I just think physically and stuff, Oso looks legit at times body-wise. And I feel like the coaches love him in practice. They're like, God, look at this thing, man. If we can just make this work somehow. You go to the game and it's just like, fuck, what happened, dude? Like, it's about confidence with the dude, I think. It really is. I think Ryan Dunn found something tonight, but Oso, it's going to take a while for him to find something. I don't know how much more minutes he's going to get the rest of the season, how much more the coaches are going to count on him to play big minutes, because he's running out of time, and maybe he has a few weeks here and there.
And I like what Ted Nibble says. We need to be aggressive and drive the ball to the hole, get the Jazz bigs in foul trouble. And that's going to be another key to the game is, does Jalen Green play? Because if Jalen Green plays, he pressures the rim. He puts those big bodies on skates and can draw that contact. Yeah. So that's going to be another key to the game. And maybe for the first time this season, we can see Jalen Green. We'll have Mark Williams out there. Colin Gillespie's going to come in and spell like he does, and we can start to see some semblance of what this team and their vision, what it looks like. And if that's the case, they can walk away with an in-season tournament win. Granted, it doesn't really matter. They are in the group with the Kings, the Jazz, the Thunder, and somebody else. And so it's not going to be a bracket they're going to win, a group they're going to win. But it's going to be an opportunity to go to potentially 2-4. And I think that the Suns need to pull a game out like this, because last game against the Jazz, it sucked. This one, it stings a little bit. We all see the bright side of these things, if you will. But at the same time, getting a couple victories here along the way against teams you should beat would just do a lot for, I think, this team's mental state, and for Coach Jordan as well.
Yeah, and give that home crowd something, man. I thought they were going to be undefeated this year, 2-0 to start, and just like ride the home crowd. I think they have that crowd behind them, and I think in the World Cup Friday night, it's going to be quite the atmosphere. Maybe some smoke, smoke bombs.
The nettleairs.com cup.org. Well, that's it for this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you have a chance and you have a little charity in your heart, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. If you happen to be watching this on Twitter, make sure you follow us at Suns Jam. You can follow me at Darth Voida. You can follow him at Matthew Lissy. You can read both of our writing at brightsideofthesun.com. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Go Suns, Matthew. Tell them what to
go
do.
Home, love your family, everybody.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.